Hi, I'm Todd Henderson. Today I want to show you how to install the Revolver X2 from Back Industries on this Ram truck. Now this has the Ram boxes, and whether you have the 6.4 bed or the 5.7 bed, the install is almost exactly the same. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I went ahead and installed the bulkhead seal. I've got it all the way to the back side of the bulkhead, furthest away from the cab. I cleaned off that portion of the bulkhead with rubbing alcohol to get it prepped, to get any kind of oily residue out of the way, so I've got a good bond with the seal. I've also removed the tie-down cleats from the rail. Next, what we're going to do is install the rail to the track system on the Rambox. What we're going to do first is we're going to get a little solution of some soapy water. Not too much soap, just a little bit of soap in the water. I'm just using a piece of paper towel, and I'm going to lubricate the rubber seal on the rail. Once I have that lubricated, I'm going to go ahead and line up the grooves on the rail to the grooves on the track system and slide it in. Okay, I've got the rail in place. I've got it pushed all the way up against the bulkhead. Now I'm going to go ahead and install the strap assembly. We got a couple of aluminum plates with a strap, rubber washer, flat washer, lock washer, and bolt going through it. What we're going to do is we're going to split that apart, make sure the portion with the riv nut is installed inside the track, just like so. Once it's slid into the track, we're going to slide it all the way up towards the bulkhead. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this down finger tight. I'm going to finish tightening it down with a 1/2 inch. All right, next I'm going to go ahead and install both tie-down cleats. Now repeat the same process on the driver's side. Now we can go ahead and set the blanket on the rails. Now, an important note, this comes to you reverse roll to prevent shipping damage. So you actually start at the tailgate end and you roll it up towards the bulkhead. You want to make sure that these tabs that come off the end of the extrusions go in between the edges of the rail. Once it's in place, we're just going to kind of line it up a little bit and start rolling it slowly towards the bulkhead. What I like to do is I also like to roll this portion towards the bulkhead as well. All right, once we get into this position, we're going to go ahead and rotate the headrail down. We're going to slide the blanket back to where the edge of the weather strip is right up to the end of the bulkhead. We're going to fold the headrail back. We're going to notice we got 2 tracks in the headrail. We're going to have some 1/2 inch head bolt that in the kit that we're going to slide into that track. We're going to do this on both sides. All right, we're going to make sure that these bolts are lined up with this slot. We're going to go ahead and rotate that down in so the bolts go down through the slot. Okay, so now here we can see where those bolts are dropping down through the aluminum track. Now I've got a flat washer and a rubber washer. I'm going to slide over top of each one of these bolts, and I'm going to use one of the included nylock nuts, and I'm just going to get it threaded in place. I'm not going to tighten this down at this point. I'm just going to get all 4, both on each side, set in place just where it's kind of catching on the nylock. Now the best way to line up this cover is to make sure the head rail in this cover, the end of the vinyl, is lined up perfectly to the edge of the rail. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide this forward a little bit, make sure it's lined up with the edge of the rail. Do that on both sides. Once that's done and everything is lined up on both sides, we can go ahead and tighten down the bolts underneath with a 1/2 inch ratchet. Now in testing the operation of the cover, we're going to roll it back all the way to the tailgate, lock it in place, and make sure it's nice and centered and lined up. Then, before we just slam the tailgate, we're going to raise the tailgate gently to make sure everything is clearing, and this one is. Now on some Rams, every once in a while the tailgate will be a little bit different. If that tailgate cap is too high to where it hits the cover itself, the cover might actually need to be raised. The way that we do that is we're actually going to raise the track rails on the inside of the Rambox. The way we do that is we're going to roll this back. On the inside of the track, we're going to see a series of black bolts. Now those have a 10mm head on them. What we're going to do to adjust this rail is we would loosen up all of them, push up on the rail, and then tighten them back down. Then roll the cover down and test the operation of the cover. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts. We're here to help you out.